I mean, it's also when you know what you stand for, you don't need to compete. You just be true to yourself, and then you actually don't have competition.
What's good, everybody, and welcome back to Hyperfocus. If you didn't know by now, my name's Paul, and this is Jan.
Hello.
And we have just come fresh off a talk at the OFF Festival, a favourite of ours, and a festival that I have had the pleasure to attend over the years. Absolutely love it and respect it. And we were asked to give a talk about Misfits. That was the actual theme of the event, and we presented that yesterday, and we actually wanted to recreate and represent that back to you guys because it's something that was near and dear to our hearts, and we think it would make a pretty good video, and I think you guys would enjoy it.
Yeah. So we jump straight in.
Let's jump straight in without further ado. Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it like this. Okay. So first of all, we had to actually find out what is a misfit? What does it mean? So we went to the Cambridge Dictionary and found this definition. So a misfit is someone who is not suited to a situation or who is not accepted by other people because their behavior is strange or unusual. Mm-hmm. And as we read that, I think we both had like the same time back in our life in our head where we actually were misfits. So let's look at some.
Let's see some real misfits, right? Shall we?
Let's see some real misfits here.
Yep, that would be myself, 1995.
And myself, 1997.
Skateboarders. I mean, skateboarding has played a huge part in my life and as Jan's. For many, many years we skated. And here is the evidence.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't make it to professional skateboarders, but I mean, the whole culture, the whole skateboarding culture really influenced us and shaped us to who we are today.
And most definitely it still resonates with me today, and definitely with yourself. And I have to say, I personally tried my hardest to be a misfit back in the day. I think I'm a little bit more kind of grounded these days, but back then I tried my hardest for sure.
Like what?
I had every different style of haircut you can imagine, from leopard print to red to yellow to blue to green to mohawk to everything, dreadlocks, everything.
Yeah, I tried a lot of hairstyles too. And
baggy pants.
I went to a big school, and I'm proud of to say here that I was the first one who wear like really maybe the biggest baggy pants you have ever seen.
I think we could do a whole video on you in baggy pants, right?
Super deep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so since skateboarding influenced a lot, we thought, for the festival, for the Misfit topic, let's talk about skateboarding and what the skateboard culture actually in the 90s, where it was also where we were involved a lot. How was it like, the whole culture? And we want to give you a little bit of context.
Yeah, back in the day, there was no social media, there was no Instagram, there was no YouTube. So we got all of our content from these magazines. So we were kind of being brought into the scene and being able to see what was going on through kind of an authentic vision or view of skateboard magazines.
Yeah. Skateboard magazines were like big. I collected them. I had like big blocks of magazines in my old kids' room, and as you could see here is like the British Sideboard Surfer magazine. In Germany we had the Monster Skateboard magazine, and then also the big American magazines like Thrasher, Transworld, and the crazy Big Brother magazine.
The precursor to Jackass from back in the day.
And then of course skate videos, and also like the whole thing about skate videos. Again, like I had a huge collection. We copied the tapes. We had like skate movie nights going on, and yeah, I mean it was just like a very creative input. Like they were very experimental and just very well done.
To be honest, as a designer as well, during this period of time, I mean, I was into art, but I really realized that art didn't just have to be a throwaway thing. Well, I mean, art is not a throwaway thing, but it didn't just have to be on walls of galleries. I could actually find a creative outlet. So, I mean, I was designing stuff for the local skate park, also for competitions as well, and I was making my own videos. So I was actually like this shot here with the old VHS video camera. I remember taping an old fisheye lens with gaffer tape to my VHS and skating around the streets and hoping to make great videos, artistic videos.
Yeah, and then cutting them here. We had to, like, you need like the camera and the video player, and then you kind of cut the whole thing together.
Yeah, thank God for Premiere and my M1 MacBook Pro.
Yeah. All right, and of course music and skateboarding, also because in the videos, there were like the soundtracks of the videos were a big thing. And then it was from like more like the rock kind of direction, rock, punk, metal. And then on the other side of the spectrum, like a lot of hip hop music. And yeah, I mean, I listened to actually all of this kind of music.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I was very predominantly grew up with hip hop, and hip hop still is has a special place in my heart as of today. But I definitely moved around these different genres. I think skateboarding was great for that because it got you to like just experience other subcultures, other ideas. Like the crossover band Rage Against the Machine. Zach De La Roche was a great spokesperson at the time for issues that were going on, and then you also were brought into the scene of things like Black Flag and Henry Rollins as well, which, I mean, a lot of, you got exposure to these kind of people predominantly through skateboarding videos and trying to find your tribe, as it were.
Yeah.
So exciting times, especially so music played a really, really important part in all of that.
And we had a lot of aggression in ourselves, huh? And then the music was the right outlet for that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then also the movies we watched back in the 90s. Yeah, I guess the movies back then, they just became more violent but also more authentic. There was a lot of sex, drugs, rock and roll. Yeah, people got killed.
Yeah, but that was.
I don't want my kids to watch these movies, to be honest.
No, I wouldn't want my kids watching Trainspotting or actually any of them, to be quite honest. I think Akira would probably be the first one, but I think the kids would have nightmares after Akira. But yeah, they were very much a reflection of what was going on in society at the time as well, and I think it was a great era for being very expressive through filmmaking and diving really deep into heavy topics and really bringing them into the mainstream. It was a pretty cool. Depending on your perspective, my perspective, pretty cool time.
Mm. Anatoly just told me he watched Kids in school.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not sure about that.
No.
Not sure about that. All right. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Since nowadays we work in branding, and we want to now build the bridge to skateboarding and how it influenced us and become the designers we are today, and also the way we work, and also the way we work with brands. That's why we wanted to talk about skate brands and how they inspired us, and what can we actually learn from skate brands. So to also give you a little context about this, a skateboard itself, it is a commodity. Yeah, so it's like every company sells the same product. Yeah, they're all out of wood. The shapes, they're slightly different, but at the end of the day, they look the same. There's also no difference in material, or there's no technical advantage. Yeah, there's no metal board or something. I mean, they tried some things, but
there were slick boards back in the day.
There were slick boards,
boards.
But not for a long time.
No.
And also plastic boards never really made it. And also the price was the same. So how could you actually differentiate yourself as a skate brand.
So we've broken this down into life lessons. We have 3 life lessons, and life lesson number 1 is culture is bigger than products. And what do we mean by that, Jan?
Okay. So to explain that, we have one brand which we really admired as an example. So Girls Skateboards. Yes, Girls Skateboard was founded in 1993. And it was a group of team riders from the World Industry Teams, another skate brand, and they decided, okay, we wanna build our own brand, we wanna build our own team, and they really just were able to create this melting pot of cultures, and there was a lot of creative energy within that team, and you really had this impression that there's like a really good family vibe within this group of people. And yeah, just when they brought new team members in, you could see, like when they introduced them, that's like an honor to be a part of this group of people.
Yeah, and these homes these brands were very much like homes, a destination for people. And this brought together filmmakers, photographers, artists, and even actors or people that then went on to become actors. Jason Lee, for example. I mean, there was many who were very, very prevalent in around that time.
Yeah. So they had Spike Jonze was actually a co-founder of the company, so the filmmaker, and then they had like Owen Wilson once showed up in a video, or Vince Vaughn as well was part of the videos. So super cool people, super creative, great family vibe. So they really managed to build this great culture around this skate brand.
And one of the most iconic logos, I think, in skateboarding, which is the girls' toilet sign, which I still think is amazing. And I know it just has so much, I know, how would you say?
Simplicity? Maybe?
There's simplicity, but it's very poignant. It makes one hell of a statement, which I think still stands.
It's also a misfit, the logo itself.
Absolutely. It shouldn't be right, but it is right. But it means so much to so many people, and you kind of just flip the idea of what this thing on his head. And it works on so many levels. It's and a very iconic logo, which has ultimately stood the test of time. Yeah. Right?
True. One thing to mention as well is that they also had the idea of like the team riders, like after they had their peak in their professional career, and I don't know, they had to stop skateboarding or could not skate at the level at the professional level anymore. They still kept them close to the company. So it was the idea to keep on all the team members involved into the company after their professional career, and to help them to make a living from skateboarding. So it was all about having fun, and that's why we also have here like a quote from one of the founders,
Rick Howard. This is a quote from 2013. He says, "We all share the same things in what we do here. So that's how we started, and that's what we want to do this day."
Yeah. So they brought together a group of people with the same values, same beliefs. I mean, organization and companies with the ability to inspire are usually starts with a small group of people, with the same idea and same beliefs, as I said.
All right, let's move on to life lesson number 2, and that is what you do is not for everyone. And what do we mean by that, Jan?
We explained that on with another example, another skate brand, Zero Skateboards, founded by Jamie Thomas in 1996. And as you can see already, that's like a skate brand with like a completely different visual appearance. Yeah, so it's just the tough guys, like the music, like rock music, punk music, metal music. The fashion from the team riders, it's like long hairs, bandanas, tattoos, all black clothing, tight pants, Vans sneakers, and even the way they skate is completely different. So it's not about, like, if you compare it to girl skateboard, for example, that was like a lot of technical skateboarding going on, but the Zero Skaters was all about like the heavy tricks, yeah, the gnarly tricks, the big steps, the big gaps, the long rails, and just throwing you. They just throw them down like on everything.
Absolutely, and I think you can kind of start to see like a little bit of a point to this somehow. But what we're saying here is most definitely Zero was created in 1996, and if you go to Zero today, they still look the same. And the reason here is because they understood who they were talking to and stood or stayed true to that and continued to have the same dialogue over and over and over again. They didn't want to be or don't need to be for everyone. They are for the people who choose to be part of Zero.
Yeah. So they never try to, I don't know, to get to the hip-hop skaters, for example. There just was no point.
Seth Gordon, he says, everything gets easier when you walk away from the idea of everyone. Your work is not for everyone. It's only for those who signed up for your journey.
I mean, it's also, when you know what you stand for, you know, you don't need to compete, you know, you just be true to yourself, and then you actually don't have competition.
All right, so let's move on to life lesson number 3, and that is you are not a product of your environment. And this actually comes from, thank you for that noise. This actually comes from a conference that I was at where Stefan Zagmeister was, and he actually said something that was quite profound, and this has stayed with me to this day. And he said, once you realize that the world around you is designed by other people, you realize that you can also have an influence on your own environment. And that means basically you look out the window, you see the streets, the steps, the handrails, the parks, the houses, the lights on the corner of every street. They were put there by somebody. And once you realize that everything was designed around you, you can influence that. And I think we also learned that as skateboarders back in the day. Every handrail was not necessarily a means of getting up some steps. It was a creative expression. A curb became the resonance of a skate session that had just happened earlier that week or something, completely covered in wax. And it became an opportunity. And I think that's a really powerful message. And I think Zagmeister kind of summed it up really well. And to be reminded of that today from our earlier days as skateboarders is still a very powerful message.
Yeah. And we also have a skate brand here, which explains this a bit better. And Supreme. I mean, how can we not talk about skateboarding in the 90s?
Without mentioning Supreme.
Not mentioning Supreme. So Supreme. Founded by James Jebbia. He opened the first store on Lafayette Street, Lower Manhattan, in April 1994. He actually focused more on, or primarily on the more obscure and harder to find items for his shops, and also like the group of people he had around him. He was looking for, I don't know, people who are willing to take risk and are open-minded. Yeah. So he actually had a lot of people from the kids movie, from the cast, working in his shop, and also like Harold Hunter, for example, as team rider. So it started as like a skate shop you could find in pretty much every big city back at this time. But then they started to do these collaboration, yeah. So for example, with artists, with Mark Gonzalez, with Kors, Takeshi Murakami. They get in contact with celebrities and work with Mike Tyson, for example, or Kate Moss, and collaborated with all these big brands like Nike, Timberland, Vans.
And don't forget Kermit the Frog.
And Kermit the
Frog.
The Frog.
Absolutely, very important face character of the times.
Yeah. And if we're looking where they come from and click one chart to the next chart, see where they're at today. I mean, they definitely challenged the status quo and just did things with a different approach. So Supreme, I mean, they have revolutionized the fashion business. with their approach on collaboration, and also with the way they sell their products. So they created this drops, the idea of selling your stuff in drops and keep it very limited with this. I mean, now since the founder is gone and it's owned by a bigger company, I don't know if it's still true, but before that, they were authentic and never forget where they came from.
Yeah.
And yeah, you could always see the roots in the 90s skateboarding, actually.
Let's see if that continues to play out.
Yeah. Yeah. So today, one of the best known and most valuable fashion brands in the world, with 14 stores in the big fashion cities, and they're valued more than $1 billion.
Not bad for a scruffy skate shop.
Yeah, I mean, who would ever had believed that?
Absolutely. Okay, yeah, this leads us on to our next quote, and we cannot touch on this topic without mentioning now, unfortunately, the late, great Virgil Abloh, and we also wanted to pay our respects somehow as well. He is most definitely tied up in the DNA of everything that we just talked about being a misfit and challenging the status quo and not accepting what is there. He was an absolute pioneer in his field, a great visionary, and he's going to be wholeheartedly missed by many, many people. I think there's a huge void now. And one of the quotes that he actually said in 2020 is, "Life is so short that you can't waste even a day subscribing to what someone thinks you can do versus knowing what you can do." And we thought that was just such a beautiful sentiment and fits so nicely into the story of the misfit that we couldn't not include Virgil himself. All right, and that leads to three main key takeaways.
Yeah, so the first key takeaway is, as we said, culture is bigger than products. It's more important to really have the right people around you, bring in people with the same value, beliefs together, and then you know it's more likely that you create something meaningful and very inspiring. Second key takeaway: what you do is not for everyone, so it's not the best idea to try to build something what is for everyone. It will fail. It will suck. Be specific. Choose a very specific group of people for who you want to build this service or this product, and then also it will be more likely that you create something meaningful to them. And the last one. Yeah,
you are not a product of your environment. Just meaning, look around you. Challenge what's there, be true to yourself, stay inquisitive, keep looking at the world, I suppose, through childlike eyes. Everything that you're delivered in front of you, just because somebody's done it a million times one way doesn't mean that that's necessarily the right way. So just have an open heart, an open mind, open eyes to challenge things and really find that misfit, or keep feeding that misfit that's in all of us. So yeah, I mean, that just about wraps it up. If you have reached this point in the video and you haven't enjoyed it, because we have certainly enjoyed making this one, it kind of took us back in time a little bit and kind of reminded us of who we are, and we hope that can inspire you. If it does inspire you, hit the thumbs up button for us and like this video. It really helps us to continue to make content like this for you. Subscribe if you're not, so you can stay current with all the latest videos that we are dropping. And as always, we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye-bye.